This brings me to a question which I really would like to put on the table is key competency. So what is the one essential skill we need now? So if you could name just one skill people should develop to stay relevant in an AI augmented world, what would it be?
I can give you an answer. I blasted on a TED stage, and the answer was be more adaptable.
Okay.
And by that, I mean, so when you ask, like, okay, what does it even mean? Like, how can you be more adaptable? And that comes down to really, again, what I said, like how we talk about technology. If we want people to be more adaptable, we need to be talking to others like grown-ups and not as kids hyping up toy for Christmas. And you have to be like open-minded. See, like it's not easy. And this notion of, oh, like I always done it this way, it works. You have to just have these days as a default that, and again, everything ties back this critical thinking. Be like, okay, what I know from my even lived experience, can it be challenged? Can it be different? Listening. Like when you see something and you want to jump with your own perspective, like just pause, just listen, just be like, okay, let me take this in. Let me deeper think up. And I think if people would be, and this is again back to this like Gaussian curve where you have like early adopters, later adopters, like laggards. And like what the responsibility early adopters have is to make adoption feel more friendly, more inclusive for other people. So I almost see this as my own responsibility. How can I make people be more adaptable? And I have this like example in my community where you always like, and I talk Bart from NA10, like he leads the whole NA10 community, like they do fantastic, love them. When you especially like in any room, physical or on social media, you have this problem like 90% of people are early and 10% are like advanced. So how do you talk about technology in a sense that it's inclusive for all of people? And my problem has always been I move few steps ahead than my audience. And the things that I do and I want to talk about is a little bit out of scope for people. So then I have a choice. Like, do I just blast the things to the 10%? Or I have to accept that there is the whole market of 90% of people might want to or might be interested in this. But it's my job to make it like kind of like serve it as a dish, which is you can consume it. And this comes down to really being intentional with your communication, really being intentional with not blasting, like, let's say, acronyms all over the place, being intentional of not overhyping things. And I think that, yeah, as early adopters, we have responsibility to help others to adopt. And people need to be more like, just have to accept it, like open-mindedness is just your go-to. And if you see like AI bubble or like everything, like, you know, if like the way I see it is like a spectrum. If one thing is very much on one spectrum and another one is on that, none of those are true. This is my judgment. None of those are true. Truth is usually lands somewhere in the middle and everything is nuanced. So just critical thinking, and critical thinking is going to allow you to be more adaptable, open-minded. I know it's like bloated one, but
I love this. I love this. You know why? Because it totally fits in something I saw in teams I build, in teams I see other building, is maybe they would not call it adaptation. Some people call it get rid of your ego. Yeah? Start talking to each other again. Start communicating in a very clear and respectful manner. Try to get from 3 rows to 1 road together, and that, because then you speed up, not going this zigzag anymore.